man. Seriously. All right. Yeah. What is up, guys? It is the Sports Nerd Brad Walker, and welcome inside the Sunshine State Sports Jabber, part of In the Zone. Part of NGSC Sports. Remember the website, guys. It's ngscsports.com for all your current sports content. The Sunshine State Sports Jabber, guys, is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app for the ultimate fan experience at your favorite sports venues. Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, pickup, or in-seat delivery. How do you place your order? Guys, I do apologize for being a little late this evening. My allergies have been bothering me all day today. I'm here. I missed last week, guys. I do apologize. I had some stomach issues a week ago, so that's why I was not on here. But I am on here tonight. So I hope everyone out there, guys, is staying safe out there. Everyone is having a good evening. Yours truly is getting his first vaccine next Friday. So I will be vaccinated here soon for COVID-19. Try to get back to the new normal. But again, guys, if this is the first time you are joining, this is the Sunshine State Sports Jabber. If you guys want to catch this show in its entirety, head on over to my YouTube channel, the Sports Nerd Bradley Walker. This show will be on there. As far as last night's Walker Report is also there in its entirety as well. So you can hop on over there. You can hop on over there as well. But anyway, guys, let me go ahead and get into the show this evening. Hang on just a second here. Let me go ahead, guys, and dive in here since I'm kind of running a little bit behind the 8 ball here. Guys, I'm going to start with the Jacksonville Jaguars. So let me see. This article, guys, is by The Athletic. And these are the picks and predictions under head coach Urban Meyer. Of course, he is the head coach. They will get picks 1 and 25 in round 1. Picks 1 and 13 in round 2. They will have a first-round pick in 3 and 4. They'll have the 25th pick in the 4th round. They'll have 2 picks in round 5, 1 and 26, and then the 27th pick in round number 7. So those are the picks that they have. Again, guys, the NFL draft, I will be covering live in its entirety, at least round 1, on next Thursday. Not this Thursday coming up, next Thursday after that. I will be covering the NFL draft on the Walker Report with Adam Mangold and Louis Tenure. We'll be covering round 1 of the NFL draft. So that will be exciting. We're going to be going pick by pick that night. So we all believe that Trevor Lawrence is going to be pick number 1 for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Obviously, that is the prediction. And stuff like that. That is the prediction for a lot of people out there that the Jaguars are going to take that. One of the players, guys, that is kind of happy that all of a sudden things are that are coming back is one Josh Allen. He is rejuvenated by the new head coach and the way that the team is moving. Again, this is a team, guys, that again last year won just one game, just one game, and stuff like that. So they're trying to bounce back, obviously. So again, he has been rejuvenated as well. So again, it is to come to say that he obviously all the guys in Jacksonville they want to win and obviously win more than one game, and they believe a lot of them now believe in Coach Meyer and a lot of the other coaches that are there. They believe that the team is moving in the right direction. So we'll have to wait and see, guys, how that all goes down. But to me, this team is moving in the right direction. I've been listening to radio ESPN in particular, and they don't believe that Urban Meyer will be in Jacksonville very long because of his past. We'll have to wait and see if that is the truth. I can see it might happen. I'm not going to sit here and say that it is or is not going to happen. I don't have a crystal ball to look into the future. I'm hoping for the Jaguars it does not happen. Hopefully he stays put at least for a little while. At least for a little while he stays put and he he's able to build this team back up. Again, this team just a couple years ago. But yeah, that is that. But yeah, guys. So I mean, really, in all honesty, let's hope that this team can get back. And just real quick, the last article that I'll cover for them, what they're going to do in round number 2 of the draft. Again, round 1, I think we pretty much know what they're going to do. They may draft a wide receiver. Obviously, that could be an option. You do want to give your rookie quarterback some options. And stuff like that. Obviously, they do have Shark Jr. already, DJ Shark. They already have him already. They also have former first-round pick Philip Dorsett and Colin Johnson. So that would be they want to add to that wide receiver core to help. That right there alone would be good for them. Again, they do get the first pick in the second round, and of course the 25th pick in round number 2. So they could go the route of picking up wide receiver Shi Smith out of South Carolina. He definitely would be a good option for them. Amon-Ra St. Brown out of USC, the USC Trojans, would be another one. And then, of course, the top pick would be Dami Brown, the wide receiver out of North Carolina. So they want to go ahead and try to add some weapons, obviously, to that. But I mean that they obviously want to help the rookie. They obviously want to help their rookie quarterback. Got to get the offensive line in place. Then you can add some weapons and give him some weapons, so that the Jaguars can be a team in the AFC South, battling, of course, with Tennessee, who's a good football team. Then you have Indianapolis, who's a good football team, and then you have the Houston Texans, who are in a huge amount of shambles. And, this is a year that maybe Jacksonville can overcome them in the division, because in Houston it is a absolute cluster, you know what, and they are, in deep trouble. They're in deep trouble there. So this could be the year that the Jaguars could finish not in the cellar in the AFC South. But again, that Urban Meyer's got to, remember, this is not college, guys. This is not somebody you can yell and bench and you can lose 2 games in a row and then apologize to the media. He's going to have to answer all these questions, and that's going to be the interesting part, is can he handle the criticism that could and will be coming his way if this team does not, has another season like it did a year ago, stuff like that. So we'll have to wait and see how it all boils down. I'll keep you guys in the loop, as I always do every week on this show. I always kind of start with the sports that are not going on right now, and the draft is right around the corner. So when we hit draft week, the day after the first round, I'll talk about all the first round picks that the Dolphins, Jaguars, and Buccaneers made. They made any trades, that kind of thing, and we will talk, then as the draft ends the following week, I'll go in and tell you where everyone graded them as far as their drafts go and stuff like that. But the Jaguars are looking pretty good as of right now, so we'll see where they go now moving forward. The next stop, guys, will be the Miami Dolphins. And so as of right now, they are, of course, there are some teams out there, guys, that are skipping volunteer workouts due to COVID. These are workouts, guys, that the players do not get paid for. So this is something that that they don't get paid for. So again, this would be something that they could very likely do. The Dolphins did add backup quarterback Jacoby Brissett to the roster. They added running back Malcolm Brown from the Rams. They added, of course, Will Fuller the fifth, the wide receiver out of Houston. And, of course, they also got Robert Foster, the free agent out of Washington. They also added tight end Chidan Carter from Cincinnati. And then, of course, offensive lineman Matt Skura, the center from Baltimore, also joined here as well. And also tackle Isaiah Wilson in a trade from the Tennessee Titans. And they picked up Adam Butler, defensive tackle from the New England Patriots as well. They added Benerick McKinney, trade with the Houston Texans. They added Justin Coleman, the cornerback from Detroit. And then they added a kicker, Michael Pardelay, the free agent from the Carolina Panthers as well. So, again, here's what it is. Their offseason program will April 19th would have been a different feel than last year than in previous years. Again, after players from 5 teams released this statement, again, that they are not going to participate because of the COVID-19. These meetings in the first 2 phases of the offseason program begin on April 19th. We are just a few days away from that through May 21st. The second phase begins May 17th through the 21st. Will feature on-field workout with coaches, but a teaching pace with no contact. The offseason plan includes both a post-draft rookie minicamp and rookie development camp. Rookie camp can be scheduled either 1 or 2 weekends after the draft, meaning either May 7th or May 9th. Or May 14th or May 16th could be those right there moving forward. Hang on a minute, guys. Hang on a second. We are having some green screen issues here. Let me scoot up so I don't run into that. But yeah, so that will be that. So their off season right now, guys, is kind of up in the air. The NFLPA, which has been pushing for a second consecutive all-virtual offseason program, did not agree to the setup, but the league has the right to implement those rules. So that, at the immediate moment, is that way. But again, they have decided, to be one of those teams. The Dolphins will stay away as well. That's going to have to be a decision as the Patriots, the Bucs, and a lot of them have all decided not to jump into the off-season camp. Let me bring on my co-host from the Walker Report, Lewis. Lewis, good evening, sir.
Good evening, Bradley.
How are you this evening?
All right.
All right. So I was just talking about how the Dolphins could join the Broncos and the Patriots and the Bucks as far as the non-off-season program type situation.
Right.
We'll have to wait and see if the Dolphins do go that way.
I get a feeling a lot of teams are going to be doing that. I think they're going to follow the path of not wanting to do OTAs. So I wouldn't be surprised if a lot more teams go into this. It's only a small handful right now, but I think in the coming weeks you're going to see a lot more teams follow that same pattern.
Well, I also think, too, they don't get paid for that. So it's not like they're going to miss out on something and, they're not going to get paid. So
that's a big deal.
Right, yeah. They're not going to get paid. So it looks like, guys, in the mock draft, the Dolphins pick number 6, and they get that pick from the Eagles in a trade. Obviously, they were at number 3. The 49ers traded with them. They went back to 12. They moved back up to 6. And they have, in this mock draft, they have the Dolphins taking Devontae Smith, a wide receiver out of Alabama. They also have them over to take Kyle Pitts from Florida. So those are the picks that the Dolphins have been kind of inked to.
Yes.
We'll see if that goes down. They also have the 18th pick, and they have them taking Jeremiah Osawa, the linebacker out of Notre Dame, and that kid is an absolute hard hitter. He is a hard-hitting linebacker out of Notre Dame. I got to see him play.
I've watched him play,
against USF. He hits hard, and he hits. And guys, when I mean he hits hard clean. It's not dirty. He hits you in the chest with his shoulders. He does not hit dirty. He's not a dirty player. He is an absolute. If the Dolphins get him, look out AFC East because he will hit hard. He is going to hit hard. But that's kind of it for the mock draft for them. For the Dolphins, again, they have a couple picks just like they did last year. They had a lot of picks in the first round, and again, they get them again this year, and they have some cap room available as well. So that's another thing that the Dolphins have. I don't know exactly the number of what they have left in the cap, but I know they, again, like they did a year ago, they have wiggle room. Let's just say that they got some wiggle room.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Like they did, last year they had a lot of wiggle room and they had a lot of draft picks a year ago. And obviously they stuck with Tua. Obviously the rumor was, guys, that this was the team that was in the front line to take on one Deshaun Watson. I don't believe that now will happen with Watson's legal trouble in Houston. This is where a couple weeks ago where he had an opportunity to go for like 3 first-round picks or something like that. Get what Houston was asking, and they'll be lucky if they can get 1 first-round pick for him now if they are willing to trade with anybody. I don't really know who in their right mind would take him on right now.
Not me.
So I don't really think the Dolphins, are there. I don't think they take that risk. I really don't honestly think they would go that route. So I think the Dolphins are sticking with Tua. They brought in Jacoby Brissett to back him up, the former Patriot and Indianapolis Colt. So he's coming in to back him up because Mr. Fitzpatrick left town. Fitzmagic is not in Miami anymore. He has left town, so he is gone. So he is gone out of town. So they had to bring in someone to back him up. But again, guys, as Lewis knows too, as we get closer to the draft, just like with Jacksonville and Miami and the Bucks, I will go through all of the picks at the end of the draft, end of the first round, because I think the show on the 25th will actually be the day after round 1, so I can talk about round 1 and the following Friday. I can talk about the draft in its entirety for the 3 teams that I cover on the show. So we'll go ahead now and switch to the defending Super Bowl champions who have very little draft need this year, which is surprising for Jason Light and the Buccaneers. Now, here's the big question for them is, is this the year that they draft Tom Brady's heir apparent? Because that seems to be the question. Now I've seen Ian Book, as I've talked about on this show a few weeks ago, as a possibility for them to go after. Now I'm seeing Kyle Trask's name pop up as a possible draft target for the Bucs. I'm asking all the Bucs fans out there, would you like to see Kyle Trask, the former Florida Gator, possibly come here and back up Tom Brady? Would he fit in Bruce Arians' offense? Remember, he's coming from Dan Mullen's offense.
Yeah.
Which Dan Mullen likes to spread it out and throw the ball down the field. Bruce Arians is very similar in that style. But what the Gators did not have, and the Bucs do have, is a decent running game. The Gators did not really have a great running game while Kyle Pitts was in Florida. So again, I mean, I'm asking the question: would it be Ian Book or would it be Kyle Trask? Who would make that? I mean, who do you take, Lewis, out of those two as far as if the Bucs were to draft Tom Brady's heir apparent? Would it be? Or would it be somebody else? Or would you say, you know what, neither one of them would be who I would take?
No, it's got to be one of those two. You got a corner get flip? Oh, boy.
Well, I mean, both of them have similar running styles. I think Ian might be more mobile.
No, I think I go with Ian. I think I go with Ian.
So, I mean, he wouldn't be a bad pick. Again, I got to see him play this year, too.
Like I said, flip a coin.
Yeah, you're right about that. Also, guys, too, in free agency, the Bucs did bring in Gennaro Bernard, the former running back for the Bengals. He'll help that the running back. He'll help the rushing game a little bit.
Look, if he's from the Bengals, he can't be that good.
And they brought back Steve McClendon. He re-signed with the Bucs. He's on the defensive side of the football. So, again, here's another thing, too. With the Bucs, the 32nd pick, I've seen them taking defense. Obviously, edge rusher, you'll need to replace JPP. He's not getting any younger. So they're going to have to get somebody to, in a few years, I think JPP signed a 2-year extension with the Bucs. So you got 2 years with him. Maybe go out and draft that guy. Maybe you take a quarterback in round 2. Or I've seen Asante Samuel Jr., the cornerback out of Florida State, as a possible 32nd pick to help that secondary. That could be something that we see. And guys, the Bucs obviously brought everybody back. Again, they can make another run at a Super Bowl, but again, it's very, very hard when you are now the hunted and not the hunter. Everyone that plays against you is going to want to beat you because you have the target on your back now that you are the defending champions. And again, too, injury plays another role. This is something that you have to overcome. Every team's got to overcome injury. You can't, if you get 2 or 3 of your major guys hurt, it's going to be very difficult for this team. But the Bucs do have very good when it comes to depth in their on their players, so that might end up helping them out in the long run. But again, they have to be one of the favorites in the NFC to come out of the NFC. Obviously, Green Bay's got to be favored in that role as well. I know that they're having issues with Aaron Rodgers' contract, but I have that funny feeling they'll get that fire will be.
Well, he can also go back. He can also host Jeopardy too if that doesn't work out. So.
He came out on Pat McAfee's show and said he loved to do that full time. So I won't be surprised, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. If he goes that route, I won't be surprised.
Right.
But I think he said he only needs like 44 weeks out of the year to do that, so it really wouldn't affect the football.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
That's what he said. So I don't really know how much that is. But again, like I said, guys, I'll get more and more into the NFL as now we're just a couple weeks away from the NFL draft happening, so I'll get more and more into the draft. The next guys is the Rowdies. Again, this is the small soccer franchise that we have here in Tampa Bay. They play in Heat. About, I would say, maybe 10, 15 blocks away from Tropicana Field where the Rays call home. They are owned by the same people that own the Rays. They bought the Rowdies. But I didn't know this, that Reiko Arozarena is the brother of Tampa Bay Rays player Randy Arozarena, and now the other Arozarena is playing for the Rowdies. So they'll be the brothers will be very close to one another when soccer returns. The Rowdies, I think, are tentative going to begin May 1st. So we're about a month away, or actually,
what league is that?
I think the tentative date for that league is the USFL. I think is what they're called.
They're called the USFL.
Or something like that. I could be wrong. I could be
actually
wrong.
Do that.
I know. I did see something too that they are going to be on ESPN2. Some of their games are going to be on ESPN2. So the local, everyone that has ESPN2 will have that. Let me see what they have here. Okay, so the Rowdies. Okay, so the Phoenix team will be playing the Tampa Bay Rowdies on May 15th here at Al Lang Stadium in Florida at 5 p.m. So that, guys, is just about a month away. We're about a month away from the Rowdies being on ESPN2. So there you go. I'm sorry, Lewis, it's the USL. I apologize. The USL, United
That's
Soccer.
better. That's better.
Now, again, these two teams were supposed to meet in the USL Championship final.
Yeah.
But because the Rowdies had COVID-19 issues, they canceled the whole thing and never rescheduled it. So this will be the first time that these two teams have played against each other. It will be taking place at Al Lang Stadium. And if you guys are not from this area, that is where one time the St. Louis Cardinals did their spring training for a long, long time before they moved away. The Rays played there for a little while. Now they moved to Port Charlotte. So the stadium is now confined, has now been altered into a soccer stadium, and the Rowdies now play there and call that home. I had been hearing some rumors before COVID had started, that the Rowdies were going to possibly play in the new Rays stadium. But again, with that going on and that fiasco, has not been bothered. And of course, Rays fans, I'll get talking about baseball here in the future, that they're still owner Stu Sternberg still wants to have half the season here and half the season in Montreal. So again, that's still a possibility that he's talking about. So again, Rowdies fans, get ready. We're about a couple weeks away from the season kicking off, and I'm not the biggest soccer fan, but I want to try to get out to a Rowdies game this year. They're not far from where I work in downtown St. Pete, so I'd like to go just to go see a game and see what the USL has to offer. We used to have, I don't know if I think the Mutiny was in the Major League Soccer, but I don't think they were in there very long. I don't know. They've never been. Okay.
No. The Rebels have their counterparts in the league too. So
okay.
So now I know I've heard them before. And the USL has been around a long time anyway. It's not a league at all. I just forgot that we were involved.
I guess the history, Lewis, is, from what I understand, is when it first started, it was the Rowdies. Then they changed to the Mutiny, and then they came back. The Rowdies came back because I guess the Mutiny just the organization.
Mutiny, that's why they had a mutiny.
They went back. Yeah, they went back to the Rowdies logo.
You can use it for mutiny.
Yeah, so now they're back to the Rowdies. And then, like I said, the Rowdies were in the championship game a year ago, and had it not been for COVID, we may have had another championship team in the Tampa Bay area. But speaking of events, guys, that are happening, this event was at Raymond James Stadium, and actually, me and Lucas and we covered some of it last night. But let me go back in case you guys did not hear. I'll go back and give the grades and everything from WrestleMania over the weekend. I guess from what I heard from Adam last night, that some of the people that he talked to were disappointed in the pay-per-view, which that is surprising to me, and I would be if the WWE is not listening, they need to start listening because
Yes.
that's not something that you will want to hear when you're supposed to be your biggest pay-per-view.
Right.
So obviously, you definitely don't want to. You don't want to hear that.
No.
So again, guys, the title here: Drew McIntyre defeated Randy Orton and Braun Strowman via pinfall to win back his title. They gave that match a B plus. So so there are a couple other matches that happened. Let me see. Did I click on the wrong? I might have clicked on the wrong thing here. Let me see something. I thought I had results, but I guess that's not what I did. Hang on just a second, guys. Let me see if I can pull up the results to that because obviously I did not get the results there.
I got some good news for you if you want to know.
Go right ahead.
The Rays are beating up my Yankees right now.
Yeah, I'm at Lewis. You know what? I'll be honest with you. I am sitting here watching the game. It's to my, it's to my this way. I'm watching right now. What I've been watching since the first pitch, Yankees pitching has not been comfortable all evening. All evening with the guy that started the game didn't get off to too good of a start with all those walks. He couldn't even get his control underway. So
no.
Let me hang on just a second, guys. Let me see if I can get the WrestleMania results here. I must have pulled up something. Let's see here. WrestleMania 21.
Yeah.
Or 2021, excuse me. Let me pull that up here real quick. So I want to make sure that I have the right.
What is this? 412, I think.
This was I think WrestleMania 30. I think this is the 37th edition.
Only 37. Oh, I was way off.
Yeah. There were 25,675 fans on both Saturday and Sunday night at Raymond James Stadium. So that was that. Roman Reigns defeated Edge and Daniel Bryan. That I do know because I think we went through that last night. Bianca Belair beat Sasha Banks. In that match, I believe Bad Bunny and Damian Priest beat The Miz and John Morrison. Correct me if I'm wrong, if that's the case. Those are just some of the matches, guys, that happened this past weekend at WrestleMania. So I mean, there lies that. Their next event, I believe, will also be here in Tampa. I think the next three pay-per-views will all be. I don't know if it'll be a Raymond James team. I have a funny feeling it's going to be at Amalie Arena. The next couple ones I think are going to be at Amalie Arena. But let me go ahead, guys. We were just talking about the Diamonds, so let me jump to baseball real quick. I'm going to start with this team, which will be the first time I've ever covered them on here, because as of right now, the Blue Jays are playing in Dunedin, where they call their spring training home. Again, the reason that I'm talking about them is, again, they are playing in Florida, so that is something that I cover.
Sure.
Now, again, most likely they are going to play in Buffalo again because as of right now, the Canadian government still has the border closed, so they cannot go back to Toronto and play at the Air Canada Center. I think that's where they play. I don't know if that's where they play. Yeah.
Yes.
But they, unfortunately, as of right now, they can't return home because of COVID-19. And they obviously don't want any of the Americans or anybody in America to cross the border. And then if you do cross the border, obviously, you have to do a 2-week, got to stay, away from people for 2 weeks.
Well, that's going to be I know it's not really, but it's going to cause a problem with the hockey playoffs, I think, isn't it?
Correct. Yeah. I think so. Actually, it looks like, guys, the Blue Jays game tonight was postponed against Kansas City. So there is I can't give you any updates on the Blue Jays because their game got postponed. Let's see why. Was it COVID related with Kansas City, or let's see here. Let's see what MLB.com has on this particular event with the Royals. I want to say maybe it was COVID related, but I could be wrong. Let's see.
Involving the Royals, probably.
No, I have an MLB.TV account, but I'm not looking to log in to watch the game right now. Let's see here.
The site I use.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably venture to say that it probably got postponed due to COVID reasons, or it could be weather related as well. I don't know if there's any rain in Kansas City,
Probably snow
or snow, because I believe the Red Sox White Sox game got canceled in Chicago today because of snow.
Yes.
I believe that's exactly what happened. So,
Not right.
yep. So that is that. But then again, guys, like I said, I'm going to cover Toronto until they move to Buffalo. So I'll keep the Blue Jays on here. This will be a new team that I added. First time I've talked about the Blue Jays since the season started, because again, they're still playing in Dunedin, so that's still in my my home state. So I will be talking about the Jays into the future until they move to Buffalo. Once they move to Buffalo, then they will no longer be on my show unless they're on the show on our Thursday show, and that'll be a different story because then they would be covered that way during our Major League Baseball talk. But I will jump to the Fish down in South Florida. That's the Miami Marlins, who, of course, if you guys are not familiar, is partly owned by Derek Jeter and company down there. So let's see what we have cooking for the Marlins. Let's see here real quick. What did I have for them? And currently, guys, the Marlins are in a 1-1 tie with the Giants in the bottom of the 8th inning at home. They have a man on first with 1 out in the bottom of the 8th, so they are up to bat as we speak. They have announced that they are doing they have a multi-year partnership with focusing on enhancing players' wellness and recovery. The company is called Therabody. That's THERABODY University. It's founded by Dr. Jason Wersland. So he's a chief wellness officer. This is a therapy and therapeutic devices that help during the training and recovery process. So again, this could be something that other teams focus on, but as of right now, Miami has signed a lucrative deal with this company to help their teams. Again, guys, have you seen now that baseball is going to try to play a 162 game season? Obviously, last year the season was shortened. It was a lot shorter a year ago. Now it's going to go the full length. So you might have guys that get injured. There might be a lot of people that are injured. The Rays are have position players injured, have pitchers injured. So, yes, we'll have to.
As much as I hate to say it, though, injuries are part of the game.
And that's exactly true. And we had that big discussion last night about the NBA, and after kind of thinking about that, Lewis, I think you were right. Unfortunately, it does have something to do with the schedule and how they changed all these games so close together. And then again, think back, hockey and the NBA had the shortest offseason of both those sports. So having to come back like within a month or a month and a half was not something that those guys that usually get, 2-3 months to rest a little bit before they have to start up their season again. So
hockey has more time off. Hockey usually starts October. They didn't start until January. But hockey seems to have the worst of it because they're the ones that had the most damage from the COVID.
Right.
Games got canceled. NBA started out that way, but once January came in February, especially in those colder climates, that's what really did the damage. But that's not surprising when you come from those colder climates. That's easier to absorb it. Yeah,
correct.
Absorb a bunch.
But yes, guys, again, the Marlins are currently in a tie. Right now, they have runners on first and second with 1 out in the bottom of the 8th. So they have a runner in scoring position against the Giants. Right now, the Giants have 1 run on 4 hits, no errors. The Fish have 1 run on 5 hits and 1 error in the game. So they, again, are currently playing. If you guys did not hear, the Major League Baseball is trying to move the mound back, and one of the fans, or one of the players that's not a fan of that is Rays pitcher Rich Hill, and he's not a fan of that at all. I don't really think many pitchers are a fan of that, moving the mound back, which I don't know if it's because they're throwing the ball harder or what the proximity is of moving it back. I have no idea. That I don't know. Again, the Rays are not off to a good start. They're currently 5-8 this year, or 5-7, somewhere around those lines. They're not off to a good start.
Give it time.
But again, like I said, everyone that's a Rays fan, just follow what Aaron Rodgers said. Relax. There's a long season ahead. I think the team will figure it out. I think out of the 3 teams that are currently in Florida, I think the Rays are the best of the 3. That's my opinion. I think they're better than the Marlins. The Jays, they're going to compete with, obviously, you're in the division with the Blue Jays, so you're going to be seeing them throughout the year. Obviously, that whether they're playing here in Dunedin or they move to Buffalo, or if by some gosh darn miracle they go back to Toronto sometime this year, the Rays obviously will travel to Toronto to play them.
We're playing in Newark. We can have your team in Newark.
Yeah. So right now, guys, as Lewis was mentioning, the Rays are up 8-0 in the top of the 8th inning against the Yankees. This is game 1 of 3. Now tomorrow, you have Tyra Glasnow going tomorrow for the Rays, and then you have Ryan Yarbrough going against Garrett Cole on Sunday. So that'll be the game. I'm really surprised that they don't put Glasnow against Cole. I think that would be a cool matchup.
That would be a good matchup. That'd be a great matchup. Yeah.
The 2 aces of the staff. So again, the Yankees are throwing out Jordan Montgomery. Actually, it looks like now the Rays are to be determined on Sunday. So it's not going to be Ryan Yarbrough. So maybe they've changed their pitching ways, but it'll be Jordan Montgomery tomorrow for the Yankees.
Why would they change it?
I don't know. I'm watching it right now, Lewis. I'm watching Valley Sports where the Rays are on, and they've taken Ryan Yarbrough's name out. So I don't really know exactly. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happened. Maybe they changed their mind or something like that.
Well, I'm sure there's somehow.
They are in the bottom of the 7th, guys, and again they are up 8-0 over the Yankees, over the Pinstripers right now. So there's a base hit into right field, like Gleyber Torres. He's got his first hit of the night. But that's it. There's the baseball talk, guys, for now. Again, we will get more and more as the season goes on. Obviously, baseball will be here for the intermediate future because they're not going anywhere. They have a long season ahead of them. So I'm going to go ahead, guys, now and jump to the National Basketball Association. I'll start with the Toronto Raptors. And the article that I saw for them is maybe it's time to look ahead to next season. This was a team that, 2 years ago won the NBA championship. Kawhi Leonard led them to a title. They beat the Golden State Warriors in the finals. I don't think a lot of people gave them a chance. I was one of the few people that actually picked them to win the NBA title when they went to the finals, but they have had a big struggle since they this year has not been good, and maybe you can blame it on the Tampa. Maybe you can blame it on the Tampa Bay area. But they have not really played all that well this year. The Raptors they can start looking for next season. Let's see. They are currently up they're beating the Orlando Magic as we speak. 107-92 in 2 minutes left in the 2 minutes 36 seconds left in the 4th quarter. So they're beating a team who, again, the Magic kind of gave up anyway, and I could talk about them since they're playing the Raptors. I don't know what exactly is going to happen in Orlando because they've gotten rid of a lot of their players. Let me jump to their logo real quick.
Well, that could be a problem.
So I don't know what they're going to do in Orlando. Oh, there's a 2-run home run by Stanton. So, hey, the game is not over yet.
Okay.
But I don't know what I don't know what the Magic are going to do moving forward. This is a team, obviously, that went to the playoffs a year ago. Obviously, they're not making the postseason this year. That's not going to be not even in. I think they're close to the dead bottom in the Eastern Conference right now. Let me check the standings real quick to see exactly where they are in the standings. Let's see here real quick. We'll check it out. Okay, they are currently. Let's see. They are currently 14th. Their record is 18-37, and the Pistons are 17-39. So they're lingering right around the bottom of the Eastern Conference right now.
Right.
The Raptors are 22-34 this year, so they're not doing much better. The only team right now in the state of Florida that is actually doing very well is the Miami Heat, who currently sit outside of the playoff picture because is it 8 teams, Lewis, that gets in, or is it 6 in the NBA?
But well, it's eight, but you got the 2 wild card, the playing games here, so it's 10.
Okay.
Yeah, so the 9 and 10 would be the well, 7 through 10 is the playing games. The 7, 10,
Okay.
and 8, and 9. So the top 6 automatically make it. Then you got those 4. You can call it. I guess you call it the wild card.
Right. So right now it's Philadelphia, Brooklyn, Milwaukee, Atlanta, Boston, and the Knicks are the top 6.
Right now,
it's the Heat, Hornets, Pacers, and Bulls. So those would be the 4 teams back for the playoff spot there for that right now.
Yeah.
And Toronto sits they're 22. The Bulls are 22-32. The Raptors are 22-34. So right now, if Toronto can win a couple games, they would be in the play-in round. That would be interesting. So they still have a shot on an outside shot of getting in.
Yes.
But they do right now. Let me see exactly where the Magic are losing. Where are the Heat playing tonight? Let's see real quick. I'll check the scoreboard here on NBA.com to see if they let's see, where are the Heat? Here. The Heat are actually in it. They're up 1 point over the Timberwolves right now with a 1:47 left in the third quarter. So now they're up by 3. They just went up by 3. So they're up by 3 points.
Okay.
Right now, in their game against the Minnesota Timberwolves. So there is your NBA portion of the show there. Again, we'll keep track of all of that. And let's jump to the National Hockey League. And I'll start with the boys down in Sunrise. And that's the Florida Panthers, who lost last night in overtime to the Lightning. They did make some moves, of course, at the deadline to get this team in the right direction. And from my vantage point, I could say this is going to be a tough team. This is not going to be one of those Panther teams that lays down.
Yeah.
I honestly can say I think this team could make I'm not going to say a deep playoff run, but a little bit of a playoff run.
Yes.
They definitely have the team to do that. I think one of their weaknesses, I believe, is in goal. They're going to have to get a little bit better in the goaltending department. They beefed up their defense during the deadline. They got some more scoring, so that's going to help. And they, again, took the Lightning to overtime last night. They got a point out of it because they got to the overtime period, so they did pick up a point, just not the extra point that they needed. So, again, they're back at it tomorrow night. Actually, I'll be at a sports bar with 2 of my buddies watching the Panther Lightning game tomorrow night. But I mean, so we'll have to wait and see.
Your Lightning got some bad news, though.
Yeah, I was just gonna talk about that, Lewis. Let me go ahead and bring that logo up. If you guys did not hear, Steven Stamkos will be missing the next 10 games due to injury. Again, now here's the question that people have come to ask me, being that I'm a diehard Lightning fan: is this time for Steven to step away?
Yes.
He's been injured the last 3 years. I mean, really severely injured. Is he injury riddled? Is it time for him to step away? Is it time for him to take less money? That's the big question. Is it coming to that point where it's time for him to hang it up and walk away? We'll have to see. Obviously, he is part of the Stanley Cup run last year. Obviously, he only played 1 shift in the finals. He scored a goal on that shift. So again, will at least miss 10 games. He's been put on the injury reserve, the long injury reserve list. But one of the bright points about the Lightning right now is obviously Andre Vasilevsky, their goaltender, who has been written by the hockey writers that could be in line to win the most valuable player award. Now, that's the Hart Trophy. Now, again, we all know the Vezina Trophy is for best goalie. He's mentioned as far as the Hart Trophy winner. So this is MVP of the league. So, again, he's in that running. Obviously, I don't think he'll play tomorrow night because he played last night. So either McElhinney will be in the net or they'll go to somebody else. That's someplace that the Lightning have had issues with, is at the backup goaltender. I don't really know what exactly go. And again, guys, I can check the leaderboard, but neither the Lightning or the Panthers are playing tonight. So let me see real quick. I believe as of last night, all three teams were tied. Obviously, the Lightning will move ahead of Florida with that. I know there were some games postponed today. The Canucks have been pushed back till Sunday. I heard that on their thing. Wow, Montreal beat Calgary earlier. Okay, that's interesting. That was a 6 o'clock drop of the puck in Montreal. Holy cow. 6 o'clock drop of a puck in Montreal.
Well, it was a 3 o'clock basketball game today, too, so that was even – but you know what? I happen to like this idea.
As of right now, in the Central, the Carolina Hurricanes are tied with the Lightning, and the Panthers are only 1 point behind them. So that's how close it is in the Central Division.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see, again, as the stretch goes down. Because as we all know, and you guys do not know, the top 4 teams in each conference makes it to the playoffs. That's the way the NHL has done it this year, which means, guys, we will have the Canadian team in the Final Four. That's going to happen. There's an all-Canadian division. And right now, most likely, that's going to be the Maple Leafs because that's the team that's leading the Canadian division.
How are they going to work it out? Because you said with the border closed, how are they going to be able to work this out?
Yeah, well, Lewis, I think, like Adam said last night, I think it's going to boil down to us going back to Canada. I think it's easier to have the bubble there in Canada in 2 spots like they did last year with, I don't know. I mean, do you put the bubble in Montreal? Do you put it back in Toronto? Do you put it in Edmonton or Vancouver? Calgary, it's going to be.
I don't think I do Vancouver. I don't think I would do Vancouver.
No, Vancouver probably not. They've probably been scratched off the list if there's a bubble heading up there. But that's.
Toronto, maybe Vancouver. No, I mean because that team was.
Right.
22 members and. Well, it's 22 players and 4 coaches. So I don't think I go to Vancouver. I hear it's a lovely city, but in this case, I think I try to stay away from that.
Well, I mean, I remember when the Olympics were there, about 8 years ago, they said how beautiful Vancouver was. So it's a very beautiful city, but right now it may not be the safest place to be in Canada. Guys, just real quick, my show is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website, arenaeats.app. For the ultimate fan experience of your favorite sports venue. Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order? All right, guys, so let me go ahead now. Thank you for the NHL talk. So let's jump now, as I always conclude my show, with the college hits. So this is what I do in my show. And guys, a lot of the spring games have all been concluded and everything else. Manny Diaz said he was very, very happy. He kept a lot of his kids out due to injury. So there were some injuries prior to the spring game for Miami. He kept those players out of the spring game, which might have been good because obviously you don't want to get them hurt coming into the season. Again, guys, we're 4 or 5 months away from the college football season restarting. As of right now, the NCAA is still going to stick with the going back to playing all conferences. It's not going to be just an in-conference schedule like it was a year ago. I think for all us college football fans, I think we can breathe a sigh of relief that that's going to happen.
In other words, you might have the cream puff games again, too.
You're going to have some cream puff games. That's correct. You're going to have smaller programs that are going to get paid millions of dollars to get beat by a bigger team. Yes, that is correct. That will be correct.
Yeah. Yes, we're going to games that cause a case of whoop ass.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Again, guys, Miami, they have a lot of new faces, obviously, because just like with everybody else, you lose players to the draft, you lose players to the transfer portal. So obviously you're going to have new faces from the portal. You're going to have new recruits. And again, this, as I've mentioned before, I think Manny Diaz has this team moving in the right direction. And I think this is the year. Again, I'm not saying that they're going to beat the Clemson Tigers, guys, but this is a team that very likely could be one of the teams that is challenging in the ACC this year. I think their counterpart, Florida State's going to have a lot more work to do than they do. They have a rival game. Last year they got to play that game because they were in the same conference together. But we'll see how the Miami FSU rivalry goes this year. That game for both of those programs is always circled on their calendar every year as a rival game. So just like with everybody else, you circle it on your calendar. But that is, that's right now. Manny Diaz has the team moving forward into the season coming up this year. They start their season, guys, against the defending national champion Alabama Crimson Tide. So I wish Manny Diaz and company a lot of luck in that first game.
I need it.
Against Mr. Saban and his company and his boys from Alabama. Real quick, guys. The Florida State Seminoles, they are in Tallahassee. They're upgrading their facility and their stadium. So that's something, obviously, every team has to go through sooner or later down the road. You will go through renovations on stadiums, and especially a university like FSU that has had a lot of success in the past. They won national championships under Bobby Bowden. So, yes, they sooner or later have to upgrade their facility, and they get money, obviously, from alumni and therefore, so they can go ahead and do that. Obviously, one of the players that has been watched so far during the spring is former UCF quarterback transfer Mackenzie Milton. If you guys do not remember what happened to him, back 2 years ago or 3 years ago, he broke his leg in a football game. He was tackled properly, but the way that he was tackled, he broke his leg and it shattered an artery in his leg. He almost died. It was at USF in Raymond James Stadium. I missed that game. That was the first year I had credentials to USF football, and I missed that game. But he got hurt. Now he is recovered completely and is ready to play again, and he's ready to start in Tallahassee. So if you know what, I will say this: if he starts one snap for the Seminoles, that'll be great. I think, in that opinion, it'll be awesome to see him getting a second shot at possibly playing college football. I know he obviously, the kid that tackled him for USF, they have been talking since the whole incident. Mackenzie does not hold him reliable for anything. He said, my leg was in the wrong spot, and I'm lucky that I'm alive, lucky I'm able to walk. But he's up and walking. He's doing very, very well. According to what I read, Coach Norvell is very happy with Milton and company and all the new faces, just like with Miami. And every college football team, you're going to have new faces. Recruits come in, transfers come in. So, again, the Noles hopefully can have a better season. Coach Norvell's first season in Tallahassee was not one that he would like to remember. It started with trouble. It didn't end very well for him either. So hopefully this year there's been no drama in Tallahassee so far. That's a good thing. Let's hope it stays that way for all my Noles fans out there, that it stays that way for them moving forward. Now we'll jump to the boys that call Gainesville home, and that's the Florida Gators. Now here's another team, again, that won to the SEC championship game a year ago, lost to, of course, we all know Alabama. They lost to Oklahoma there, and now they become a different team. No more Kyle Trask, no more Kyle Pitts. So obviously the offense will look differently this year. They have, let me see what their schedule is. This is, of course, let me see something here. This is Athlon Sports, which you guys don't know. Athlon Sports is a very good, I like to use their website a lot. They have a magazine that you can buy in the stores, which is kind of cool if you're still into reading magazines and stuff. And there are a lot of people out there that like to still hold on to a magazine.
I do.
So we'll go ahead. We'll go ahead and you were talking, Lewis, about Green Puff games. Week 1 for the Florida Gators is Florida Atlantic. That's Willie Taggart's team, who used to coach USF. So you're heading to Gainesville to play the Florida Gators. The Gators then come here to play USF in week 2 on September 11th at Raymond James Stadium.
Okay.
Then here we go. Week 3. Mark this down. In Gainesville against the defending national champion Alabama Crimson Tide. That would be a very good football game right off the bat. Yeah. Then they play at home against the team that I am not a huge fan of, the Tennessee Volunteers. They go on the road to begin October against the Wildcats of Kentucky. They come home to face Vanderbilt on October 9th. They head to Baton Rouge, where I want to go, Death Valley, where they play the LSU Tigers on the 16th of October. They are in their normal October, the day before Halloween, in Jacksonville for the biggest outdoor cocktail party against the Georgia Bulldogs.
Oh, yeah.
November 6th, they're at South Carolina to play the Gamecocks. They have another Cream Puff game on November 13th against the Sanford Bulldogs. And then they head to Missouri to play the Tigers on November 20th. And the final game of the season is at home against the in-state rival Florida State Seminoles on November 27th. So that is the schedule for the Florida Gators this year. Again, it's going to come down to how the offense runs, how the defense goes this year. That was the weakness last year for the Gators, was the defensive side of the ball. So, again, we'll have to wait and see. Again, I'm pretty excited if I get a chance to cover USF again this year. And the first home game of the year, I get to see 2 of my favorite college football teams play each other on the same field. So that's kind of going to be cool if that goes down that way. So, but there you go. There's how the schedule breaks down for the Gators this year. But again, that's that. Let me go ahead and jump real quick to the boys that call Orlando home, and that's the UCF Golden Knights. Now, guys, they have a new head coach in Gus Malzahn, and everyone seems to be absolutely loving this guy since he left Auburn, got fired from the Auburn Tigers. He's here. They have billboards, guys, all over the state of Florida telling you how far you are away from their university and their football team, their football program. What is this? They got baseballs all over the field. Whoa, something's happening in New York. They're throwing baseballs on the field.
Yeah, great.
Okay. But so everyone is, they had a very good spring game. Their running backs look very good in their spring game, so they're focusing on that. But Gus Malzahn has the university. He came out and said that UCF is still the best team in Florida. That was what he said. He said nothing's changed. They're still the best team. So again, we'll have to wait and see how their season comes up. Of course, they end the season at home against the South Florida Bulls. So UCF still running strong. Gus Malzahn has got those boys going in the right direction there in Orlando. And as I close out my show, I always close out with the boys that call Tampa home, and that is the USF Bulls. And of course, I got to go to their spring game a couple weeks ago, and I was very impressed with Cade Pin. He is going to probably be the starting quarterback for USF this year. And let's hope that it's not a quarterback carousel like we had a year ago here at USF. They have also, guys, finalized a 2-game schedule. Oh, this is really far into the future, against Notre Dame for the 2029, 2030, and 2031 seasons. Guys, that's 8 years away before we even talk about that. But they have finalized a Notre Dame to play in those 3 years. That's the news that's out right now for USF. And but with that, guys, with that being said, that is going to conclude the Sunshine State Sports Jabber for the evening, guys. Again, the show is part of NGSC Sports, guys. Remember the website. It's ngscsports.com for all your current sports content. Again, my show is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website, guys, arenaeats.app for your ultimate fan experience at your favorite sports venues. Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and eat-seek delivery. How do you place your order? And before I go, as I always do, guys, I will give the floor to Lewis to bring his show on tomorrow night.
All right. It's called The Baseballs Are Flying All Over the Place, a.k.a. the Enhanced Sports Show. Oh, boy. Maybe you'll discuss that tomorrow because that could be my ridiculous item of the week.
There you go.
Yeah, we're on 5 to 7 East Coast time. So if you got time between 5 and 7, call the following number, 512-543-4662. I'll repeat that again, 512-543-4662. And as I've been putting in on all the websites, that this week could be the most unusual show I've done in the 3.5 years I have hosted this show. If you call in, you'll find out why. Let's just say that we'll be covering some sports that we normally don't cover, in addition to stuff that we do cover. So would
one of those be the XFL?
No.
Okay.
You missed it. That was 2 weeks ago. You missed it.
I have to give my co-host here on the Walk Report a hard time because he does not like when we talk about the XFL on the other show. He's not a big fan of that. So, again, we won't have to talk about the XFL on this show unless they come back next year. We'll have to wait and see.
That was 2 weeks ago, bro. You missed it.
Oh, I missed it. Okay. Well, you know what? I'm going to call in tomorrow because I want to see what this surprise is. I don't have to be to the game or to the bar. The game starts at 7, so I'll probably leave here at 6. So 6:30. So I'll call in at 5 or 5:30. I'll give it a call. See it. I'm waiting to see what this is going to be all about. I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, it's normally we don't cover some of the stuff that we mentioned, but there's been a lot of stuff that's been happening this past week. Some of the good and some of the bad, some inspiring. So you'll find out. I don't play spoilers, so you'll have to tune in to see for yourself.
Absolutely. But with that, guys, before I go, as I always do, I want to thank the doctors and nurses and first responders, the true heroes of the pandemic since it started a year ago. Also to the men and women of our armed services, both active, retired, and the ones who have left us. Thank you for your sacrifices. That we wouldn't be able to do this right now without what you guys do on a daily basis. So thank you very, very much. Also to the police officers, firefighters, and paramedics, thank you for keeping us safe here domestically. Guys, I will be back on Thursday. I'm not really sure about Tuesdays. The Bullseye podcast. We gotta find some things to talk about. There's no football and basketball on. It's really, really difficult to get an hour show in there, but we're trying to figure out that. If not,
which one is that on usually?
That's on at 9 p.m. on Tuesday nights. Yeah, 9 p.m. every Tuesday night. Guys, that's Eastern Standard Time as well. But again, we've the last few weeks we've been off the air because there really hasn't been much to talk about. We're trying to get that back on. If not, Lewis will be back with me along with Adam next Thursday, a week before the draft. And as I mentioned earlier in the show, we will be covering the draft on that show, on the Thursday show, a week from this upcoming Thursday, around the NFL draft. So we'll be on there going pick by pick as we go through the draft, through the first round, and see if there's any surprises in there, as there always is on draft day.
Of course.
When it comes to that time. But guys, until then, I'll see you guys, everyone. Please have a great weekend. Stay safe out there. Yours truly is getting his vaccine shot next Friday, number 1 of 2 next week. So I'll be vaccinated by the end of May, which will be great. Everyone, stay safe. Be vaccinated. Stay safe. Wear your mask. Until then, peace.
Good night, folks.